Once upon a time, in a small town named Riverdale, a boy sat alone on a cold bench after rain. His name was Jack Miller. Jack was only 14 years old. He had no mother. She had died in a car crash. He had no father. He had died soon after. He had no home now. He felt lost and cold. Jack closed his eyes. He thought of his mother's soft voice. He thought of her last words in a small white hospital room. She lay on a bed with pale sheets. She said, "Jack, promise me one thing." Jack held her hand tight. He felt her weak squeeze. He cried and whispered, "I promise, Mom. I will take care of Lily and Sam." Lily and Sam were Jack's younger siblings. Lily was 10. Sam was 6. They had no idea what had happened. Jack carried them on his old back to a small empty house. The house had no roof in one corner. The floor was cold. A single room had 2 broken windows. Jack closed the windows with old cloth. Jack looked at Lily and Sam. Lily smiled and said, "Jack, I am okay." Sam cried and said, "I want Mom." Jack hugged them both. He said, "I will keep you safe. I will make a home for us." He felt pain in his heart. He wiped his tears and looked out the dark window. He saw no help coming. At night, Jack sat by a small lamp. He had no money for food. He had no money for rent. He searched the dusty corners of the room. He felt a chill on his neck. He shivered and looked around the empty room. He wished for a warm blanket. He stared at the lamp flame. It danced in the dark like a lonely ghost. He found a piece of paper under a floorboard. The paper was old and creased. It had his father's neat handwriting in blue ink. It was an address to a small building. It said, "Find help in the old library." Jack felt surprise. He felt hope. He whispered, "My father left a clue." He held the paper tight. He thought, "Maybe I can save my sisters." He took a deep breath. The next day, Jack walked to the old library at the edge of town. The building was tall and dark. The doors were heavy and cold. Jack knocked with his small fist. No one answered. He opened the door. The bells rang loud. He saw rows of tall shelves and old books. A man stood behind a big desk. He wore glasses and a gray coat. He said, "Can I help you, boy?" Jack showed the note. He said, "My father left this. He told me to find help here." The man studied the paper. He smiled and said, "Follow me." He led Jack to a back room. The room had a single book on an old table. The book had a red cover. The man said, "This book has a secret job for you." Jack opened the book. Inside, he saw an address to a small diner in Riverdale. The page said, "Work hard and help your family." Jack looked up. He said, "I will try." Jack left the library and went to the diner. The diner was small and full of people. It was noisy and bright. Jack felt nervous as he stood in the bright room. His heart beat fast. Sweat formed on his brow. Mrs. Harris looked at his small frame. Jack took a deep breath and said, "Please, I want to work." She looked at him for a long time. She asked, You look small. Can you wash dishes and mop floors?" Jack nodded and said, "Yes, ma'am." Jack worked long hours. He washed dishes, he cleaned floors, he served coffee. He smiled even when his body hurt. He ran to help Mrs. Harris in the kitchen. He had never seen such anger before. He heard smashing glass behind him. Two men yelled and threw chairs one night. Jack froze in fear. He ducked behind a chair. He saw a knife on the floor. His hands trembled as he picked up a plate to help. He heard Lily's voice in his mind. He thought, "I must protect them." After the fight, Jack found a small key on the dirty floor. He picked it up. He did not know what it opened. He put the key in his pocket. He felt safe and scared at the same time. He thought, "This is a mystery." Jack left the diner late. He walked home with the key in his hand. He thought of his sisters. He saw shadows on the empty walls. He heard a quiet whisper. He followed the sound. It led him back to the house. He saw a trap door under a loose board. His hands were wet with sweat. He knelt on the cold wood. He felt the metal turn under his fingers. The trapdoor creaked open. A cold wind rose from below. He used the key to open it. Under the house, he found a small metal box. He opened it with shaking hands. Inside, he found old letters and a small pile of money. The letters were from his father. The letters said, "I believe in you." They said, "Use this to help your family." Jack felt tears in his eyes. He held the letters tight. Jack took the money. He went back to the diner. He gave half the money to Mrs. Harris. He said, "I want to pay for my work." Mrs. Harris cried. She said, "You are a good boy. You will go far." Jack worked harder than ever. He saved the other half of the money. Jack used the saved money to buy books. He had always wanted to learn English better. He went to a night class at a small school. He studied every night. He wrote new words on old paper. He read simple books and tried to speak in class. He fell asleep on the desk. He woke up and smiled. He said, "I will not stop." As Jack grew older, he learned faster. He spoke clear English. He read big books. He wrote small stories. He went back to the diner. He taught other workers to read and write. He showed them the letters from his father. He said, "You can learn too." Years passed. Jack was no longer a poor boy. He saved more money. He started a small cafe. Lily and Sam worked with him. Lily cooked with care. Sam took orders on a bright tablet. Jack wore a white coat. They smiled as they served coffee and pie. The cafe grew bigger. More tables filled the room. More people came in each day. Jack hired Sarah and Tom. They were young like him. Jack still remembered his own fear. He gave jobs to more young people who had no home. He built a small house for them to sleep. He paid for their school. He said, "We will fight hard together." One day a rich man walked in. He said, "I know your story, Jack." Jack looked at him in wonder. The man said, "You helped many people. You saved your sisters. You taught Others. You deserve to be rich. The man opened a book. It had Jack's face on the cover. Jack was on a magazine. He felt tears again. Jack felt proud. He looked at Lily and Sam. Lily said, "You kept your promise." Sam said, "You saved us." Jack hugged them. He said, "I did it for you." He thought of his mother and father. He felt their love in his heart. On a quiet evening, Jack sat on a bench outside the cafe. He closed his eyes and felt the wind. He remembered the cold bench by the well. He remembered the old library and the red book. He remembered the secret under the house. He remembered the promise. Beautiful thought. Hope can grow in the smallest heart. It can shine in the darkest night. It can make dreams come true. What can you do to help a child in need? What promise will you keep?